So in a major change in the coaching for the Indiana Fever from last season, where it seemed like Christy Sides sometimes was content to deal with the cards given by the referees, Stephanie White is aiming and firing at them in the press conferences, much like many great coaches that have come before her. I think she's had enough of some of the calls that have not gone in favor of the Indiana Fever, that have left them with a huge free throw disparity, arguably caused the loss of 2 games. And it seems like, at least in her eyes, the Indiana Fever are getting an uneven whistle while the opponents of this team are kind of allowed to do what they want physically, as they, sometimes manhandle the Fever players, or, there are key fouls that are just going uncalled at certain times. So we're going to pull it up. Shout out to Scott Agnes, who actually captured this footage here. And we are going to look at Stephanie White taking aim at the media. I'm going to put my headphones on so I don't miss anything.
See on the last play from Caitlin, and then on top of that, what do you think of your team play game execution?
I thought she got fouled. I think it's pretty egregious what's been happening to us the last few games. A minus 31 free throw discrepancy. And I might be able to understand it if we were just chucking threes, but we're not. We're attacking the rim. And the disrespect right now for our team has been pretty unbelievable. So it's disappointing, that it doesn't go both ways, or it hasn't gone both ways. But we also can't allow that to consume us, right? Like, we've got to be able to play through that. We've got to be able to control the things that we can control. I felt like at times our late game execution was good, and I consider most of the latter half of the fourth quarter, because it was a tight ball game. We're still not recognizing our mismatches. I felt like AB had plenty of opportunities. We could have gotten her touches down low, and we had some turnovers, key turnovers. We settled at times. We fought, but we can't dig ourselves a hole from the beginning.
Absolutely. This is a rather tactful way that she did this. I think she expressed her unhappiness clearly, but I don't think she did it in a way where the league is going to fine her, or she was over the line or anything like that. She cited some stats. She then even turned it back on, the team itself, talking about getting down and digging yourself in a hole. And I think that'll go a long way in keeping the fine police off of her. But yeah, this is already gotten to this point, 4 games into the season, to where Stephanie White's like, all right, man, enough is enough. Like, I think we've got 4 games now of seeing like the phase guarding, the drives that are going to the basket that are not getting called. It is, I think it's time, and it's cool to see that the Fever have a coach that is willing to take it to the podium. And sometimes this works. This will sometimes open up the ref's eyes. Usually these things don't backfire, but it doesn't last forever. It's at least like a short-term fix, but ultimately it's going to come down to the things that she was talking about right there, as far as like playing through it. I personally don't like to get caught up in the referees, because the referees they're never really on your side anyway, even though sometimes it may feel like it, because you can't just guarantee everything's going to go your way. What I think she's just asking for is consistency. It feels like the Fever are getting a lot of ticky-tack fouls. It feels like they are suffering from a lot of the calls going against them. So I think she's looking for more of an even ratio.
Yeah, Caitlin talked a lot about, the defense kind of being iffy, especially in the fourth quarter when you guys were up 12 and then Liberty went on a 16-2 run. Just what did you see during Liberty's run that kind of you can take to fix?
Well, the best transition defense is offensive execution, right? And we had a couple of turnovers and a couple poor shots that led to runouts and led to runs. And I have to do a better job of using my timeout sooner. Oftentimes you get caught in this, it's going to be a tight game. You want to keep them for the end of the game. But I should have used one sooner. And we have to do a better job collectively of understanding that individually we don't have to make the play that stops the run, or the play that turns the tide, the play that starts the run. We've got to continue to do, what allowed us to be successful in the third quarter, and that was ball movement. That was playing 1-second basketball. That was player movement, and making the easy play.
They were really unstoppable in that third quarter, it felt like. And it didn't really feel like they were on fire or anything. It just felt like, all all the movement is just culminating in the correct, place for the ball, the correct score, the correct layup. It just wasn't like they were making these incredible shots, aside from, the Caitlin 4-point play and also the 34-footer.
Coach, you talked about the way that the game has been officiated for you guys. How did you see the foul that was not called, or a lack of foul, on the Bonner play, and then follow it up by Lexi Hull getting called for the foul?
I thought it was egregious, honestly. I mean, I thought it was obvious. I felt
Let them have it, Steph. Let them have it.
like AB got one, had one going to the rim. They're in rotation. DB's was crazy. And we had, and then Lexi's, I felt like equally, we talk about, coming into the path, and it was an offensive player veering into the defensive player's path. So, I mean, it is what it is. We have to be able to play through it. But at the same time, I feel like it's really disrespectful.
Woo. Disrespect. Man. Asking for the concept of respect in your calls, I gotta say that's a new one. I haven't really seen that. Even last year with Cheryl Reeve after the WNBA Finals, I don't think she even said anything about disrespect. She just flat said it was stolen from them. So this is a slightly different tack than that. Disrespect is almost like y'all are like there's something that is against the Fever. So that's interesting.
Steph, when watching Caitlin, when she has a little bit of a mini slump for her with three-pointers, are there things you see or even talk to her about it, or you just sort of know she's going to shoot her way out of that?
Oh, I think she's going to find her way out of it. Now, we've got to get her easier ones. The ones where she's having to, dribble 5 or 6 times and create a shot. Some of that is play calling. Some of that is recognition and flow. Some of that is angles of our screens. We got to move her around a little bit more. I mean, she plays pretty much above the break all the time. And sometimes that's easy to predetermine how they're going to play certain actions. So we got to move her around a little bit more in different actions. We'll have a couple of days to get some work in practice, and we'll use that as an opportunity to look at some of those things.
Coming out of the timeout there, I think 36 seconds left and the score tied at 88. Were you looking for something moving towards the basket there, or were you happy with Caitlin taking the three?
Yeah, I mean, we were looking for something going to the rim, and I think we got a switch on the ball screen and probably could have looked for AB. I think collectively this is part of our growth process is recognizing. We had a lot of mismatches and switches, recognizing it, and then you can't get so hyper-focused on it. It's got to be able to happen naturally, but recognizing it, communicating it, I felt like we missed an opportunity there.
There was something that I noticed with Aaliyah Boston, especially like after she would like receive the ball after like one of those screens. Sometimes it felt like she didn't realize she was wide open, where she could have just took a short jumper or put the ball down with a strong move and immediately got to the rim. Like she was still kind of looking to dish the pass off. So I just think Aaliyah would probably need to, if you show her that on tape, she'd probably instantly correct that.
Was there a moment there at the end of the third quarter, beginning of the fourth, when you're up by 12 points, that you start to feel everything's clicking and we can put these guys away, and you might be up here right now talking about a win?
No, I think the moment was when we were up 12 was more like, hey, we've got to continue to do what got us here. We got to move the ball. We've got to hit singles, not make home run plays. We have a tendency to try to make the home run play all the time, the dagger or the play that gets the momentum going, or and it doesn't need to be that way. We can make the easy plays. So those were more of the communications, keeping our intensity level, on both ends of the floor. You can't relax. I mean, the margin for error when you're talking about playing championship caliber teams is so small. Digging ourselves a hole early, allowing them to shoot 64%, running into every screen like we're screen magnets. I mean, we can't have that. Not if we want to compete at the highest level. We'll have it sometimes because good offense beats good defense, but we can't have the breakdowns that we had. And then when they're making their runs, taking care of the ball, making sure we give ourselves the opportunity for the best shot on the floor.
Steph, given your perspective on the first 4 games, is that something you've already tried to be proactive with the league, or you'll reach out to them and let your feelings known?
Yeah, I mean, look, there's a system to making sure that we can send stuff in and communicate, our grievances, so to speak. I don't know that I ever feel like the system works. It's not looking. We're not looking for.
She said the system is fake, essentially. There's nothing like going out to the public with it. So I imagine the league won't be happy in that sense, but I would imagine they follow the official protocol as well.
For a change, we're just looking for consistency. I felt like the second half of Atlanta, at least at our place, was at least consistent, right? And that's the thing that we're looking for.
Caitlin, can you give us your perspective on the last?
All right, we'll worry about Caitlin another time. But yeah, I gotta say, man, I saw a few comments on the game review and all that, calling for the firing of Stephanie White, and I think that's entirely too premature and reactive. I think she knows what she's doing as far as coaching, and I trust her to lead this team in the way and make the proper adjustments that they'll need going forward. And this is just part of the process. So good on her for calling out what I think a lot of folks that enjoy the Indiana Fever are seeing. I imagine her as a coach is frustrated. She's got a closest seat as anybody, and she's been around the league. It's not like she's some brand new coach that commands no respect. When she speaks, I think people will listen in the league, and you can only hope for consistency, as she said. So I don't think you want all the calls going for you. You don't want necessarily any more calls than you feel like you're entitled to. I think just nothing more, nothing less. So and it feels like it's just been a lot less. So anyway, I'm Rich. I'm up out of here, and I'll holler at you guys. Peace. One lifetime.